Okay, last video I'm filming. Yesterday I could not film the last 3 ones. We are on a Sunday and I'm pre-filming for the whole time I'm gonna be away in September. Thing is, we are on a Sunday. This video is gonna be up next Friday, so it's not that much of a pre-filming. Anyway, it's the last one I had to do, and finally I'm there. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about everything related to my knitting life and my knitting adventures, and I have several series here on YouTube. My name is Isabelle, I am in Normandy, and today I'm going to be talking about my Yarn by Year project and a checking for July and August. Full disclosure, I haven't bought anything in August, and what you have, I'm going to be showing you of what I have bought in July. Some you have already seen. But I did not want to record, I did not have the time to record a checking in July. So we're going to be doing it right now. And I was thinking, okay, I'm going to just pull July and August together if I ever buy anything in August, and I have not. And I'm also going to be talking about the way I manage some of my cravings. I kind of easily manage craving for yarn for now. And I have to work on to managing my craving for patterns. So I have a strategy that I set up last year, and it's working quite well for me. And I'm going to do a checking for my pattern, the way I'm buying patterns, because I did overbuy yarn and I did overbuy patterns and other things. So if this is of any interest to you, please stay tuned. So first, as per usual, what am I wearing? I am wearing Eris, and Eris is a sweater pattern recipe, a raglan recipe from a book by Pom Pom. It's Ready Set Raglan, and Eris is by Megan Fernandez and Lydia Gluck. And I knit Eris in cotton and linen. The dark blue one is cotton, 50% cotton, 50% linen from my mother's stash. I've knit almost everything. I still have a bit left, I think. And the white is also from my mother's stash, and I think it was cotton and acrylic or something like that. Anyway, I have the balls, but it's very old stash from my mother. I did enjoy knitting this cotton and linen very much. I was thinking I would not enjoy knitting with it because it would be hard on my hand. I used wooden needles, it was okay. And this cotton and linen is so plump, so it's a bit slippery, but with the wooden needle it was fine. And it was not hard on my hand anyway. So I would like to apologize because you will have seen this t-shirt, me wearing this t-shirt in the past quite a few times. You will see it again in the pre-recorded videos that I did a couple weeks ago, because I think it's gonna be, we are on the last real summery days here in Normandy. Last 2-3 days were very windy, very rainy, gray and colder, and today there is some sun. So I was thinking this is the kind of the last opportunity, I guess, for me to be wearing it before of the fall and before the winter time. So I'm quite sorry, you've already seen it. I enjoy wearing it very much. I have nothing under, I have underwear, but I wear it on my skin. I wear it a couple times, throw it in the washer, hang it to dry. Perfect. It's boxy, it's cool to the touch, it's not scratchy. It is just perfect and I love it. Okay, my yarn no by year project. This is my third year. And for the first 2 years, I had to battle very hard with myself not to buy too much yarn. The first year I started this project, it's because at the end, so it was in 2022, at the end of 2021, I overbought. And I got so used to seeing people living in yarn stores and showing huge hauls and buying and buying and buying. It looked natural to me. When I think of it, it's not natural, it's not a nice thing to be doing. Hoarding yarn is not necessary. Of course, yarn may disappear, but you know, I've learned that even La Bien-Aimé's line that I really loved and I never got replaced with something else that I think is nice anyway. I did not buy it either. And also that yarn is a sneaky beast and a sneaky animal that kind of finds its way to me because we exchange yarn with people think of me, send me things, and I send them things and stuff like that. So the first year I did manage to not buy as much yarn and knit from my stash quite easily. But for this first year, what happened is that I overbought patterns. I bought a lot of them because I was thinking, oh, this designer has a birthday, these many percent as a discount. I want to support him or her, buy, add to cart and buy, add to cart and buy, add to cart and buy. The result is that now I have in my queue patterns I've bought that I haven't knit. There are at least 3 or 4 pages of them. And the very example of the one that I bought that way is Yara. I bought it 2 or 3 years ago. I bought the yarn at the end of 2021, and it's been sitting there up to this year when I finally knit it. And I finally knit it because I consciously decided I am going to knit Yara with the yarn I bought for it. If I had not had Yara in my library, if I had not had some yarn for it, would I be able to wear Yara now? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I most certainly would have knit a shawl. Which one? I have no idea. Maybe not Yara. Maybe I would never had the opportunity to knit Yara. Maybe I would never buy the pattern because, there is always the new one and the new one and the new one that comes up to your attention and it's, looking nicer than the previous one when in fact the previous one is as beautiful. And am I happy I knit it? Yes. Am I happy to have it with me? Yes. Is this a beautiful shawl? Yes. But I did knit it because at some time I overspent and I decided it was enough and I don't want to be living that way, buying and accumulating either yarn, hoarding yarn or patterns or stuff like that. So when I saw I was buying patterns instead of yarn, I decided I had to do something. So what I did is in 2023, so last year, create a bundle where I would place all of the patterns that I wanted to buy there, and so that they don't get lost in the bottom of my Ravelry library, or they don't get lost into the bottom of the Ravelry database or of the internet, because it's going to be replaced by a new one and a new one and a new one. So I would place them there so that they would still be available for me to browse through and decide if I still want to knit them or not. And if at some point I said, yes, I want to knit that one, I would just buy it and knit it. The drawback is that some patterns may disappear from the internet. Some free ones may become paid for. That's the game. That's the game. But I decided that I will categorize all the ones I want to buy, and I would just buy that one pattern on the spot when I'm ready to cast on. So the first year, that bundle became very large. So at some points, I did a couple times some kind of reckoning with that bundle, and I would remove the ones that I placed there because at some point I wanted to knit them, and maybe 4, 5, 6 months later, I was not interested into knitting them any longer. I'm doing the same thing now for 2024. I'm doing this more consciously, and I place less patterns in that bundle, and I think I went on already once through the bundle to remove the ones that I did not want. And for now, it's pretty much stabilized, and I've added some patterns that I'm going to be showing you right now and explain why they are there. So as I said, I manage my patterns cravings by using bundles in Ravelry where I store the ones I really want to make. And I'm just going to be talking about the 5 last ones that I've added, and I'm going to tell you why. The first one I've added is Back Socks, and Back Socks is by Margarita Berdyshevska. This pattern, I have it in my library. I think there was a code because I haven't bought any pattern recently. And what I really liked about this pattern is this very particular heel construction. And as you know, I'm on the last sock for my second son. I've already knit the first one. So I want to be making socks for myself, and I want to experiment with different type of constructions or stitch motifs or stuff like that. And this heel was a bit unusual to me, so this is why I added this pattern here. The next one is Estonica Hat by Christina Villimate or Villimate or something like that. Once again, this pattern is paid for. It's $7.20. And what I really liked is here, I don't need any more hat patterns. I do agree with you if you think that. But what I really liked here was the stitch motif, the lace motif on the hat, and kind of looking like a beret, but not really a beret. So I was really interested into looking into this pattern and see if I would make this one or something similar with this pattern or a different stitch motif from the Japanese Stitch Bible. So this is why I got that one too. And I'm sure there was a code because I did not buy anything. So the €6.75. I forgot to say that the back socks were €6. And same thing, I got a code. Next pattern that I want to talk about is a free one. And what I am extremely interested in is, first, you can wear it right side out or inside out. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what I liked a lot is the increases here that are it's a yoke sweater. So you see here there is some kind of bigger fluff, here some kind of smaller fingering yarn for the color or something like that. That's not what I liked. What I liked here are the increases that for the yoke that are not regular increases all around, and that make these type of motifs on the yoke. So I wanted to have a look at this pattern. You may recall I was very much interested into Heidi Kermeyer's timeline or something like that pattern. I will write on the screen if it's not the right name. That had similar kind of increases that were going like for the Bisbee's beret that I need all around. And when I was knitting the beret, I was thinking it would be very interesting to test these kind of increases in a yoke. And here you have a free pattern that you can have a look for yourself. So the right side out here is, maybe I should increase it here. You see the line of increases are not the ones, the regular ones you can see elsewhere. So this is why I added this pattern into my library and into my want to make list, because I am very much interested into seeing how she did that. Before Herbivore, I'm going to show you Rena de Picasso by Valentina Bogdanova. I don't have it in my library. I have it in this favorite, and it was a favorite from last year too. So I moved it back up here because, you know, I want to knit some kind of all-over lace. I have the reduplicate that I'm ready to cast on. I've swatched and everything. Now, I really like this sweater for the neckline here, for the stitch motif that you can find on the yoke. I guess you can extend it all over if this is something that is of some interest to you. Sari Nordlund has some similar patterns. Some of them I have in my library, but not with this kind of neckline. And the Japanese stitch dictionaries are full of these kind of lace motifs. So I'm very drawn towards these patterns and these stitch motifs and these yokes, and maybe all over lace work on all over of the sweater. So this is why I moved that one from the want to make list from 2023 to the want to make list for this year, 2024. It's €7.80. And I have Herbivore, which is a very old pattern by Stephen West. So I have it in my library because I have the book. Is €8.40. This one is from 2009. And what I like about this shawl, it's a kind, I'm not sure how it's called, it's not a modular shawl, but you have 3 lines of increases here. You have a stitch motif that is very easy and garter panel, or maybe these are stockinette, I'm not sure. And with these motifs, and what is interesting with Herbivore is that it's not a true triangular shawl that will give you a very deep pointy end in the back, because you know I don't care much for that. I have shawls that are like that, but I usually fold them in half here so that I don't have that big pointy end in my back or in my front. And so this one is more of an elongated one, as the increases are not only in the middle spine but also on the side. So it gives a shape that I think is extremely interesting. And I'm waiting for some yarn that one of you is probably going to send me after I'm back from the hospital. But anyway, and this shawl you can end it up whenever you want, and for the yardage and it's going to be fine with what I'm supposed to be getting. And the pattern can go with any kind of yarn weight, and this is going to be fingering weight. So this is why I placed my Herbivore that I already own in my want to make, so that library or bundle, so that I can have it on hand. So you see, this is a way for me to fantasize on patterns, to keep them not too far away from my eyes and not too far away from my heart, so that I can retrieve them and from time to time go back there and say, why is this one here? I don't recall. And fortunately I did not buy it, and I just remove it from the bundle. I keep it in my favorites maybe because I want to keep track of it, but my favorites is huge. There are several thousands of patterns there, so it's completely not practical as is, unless I use the search engine from Ravelry, which is pretty good. But I prefer to use these bundles. Okay, so as I was talking about the patterns, I talked about a color work pattern that I am very much interested into doing, because I'm gonna move. It's not in the order I had thought about. I went ahead into the pattern bundle, and this is not the way I wanted to organize, and I'm not sure I can cut and it will be natural. So I'm going to be talking about what I bought at Atelier Purlaine. You've already seen everything, and I'm going to talk about also that colorwork pattern, colorwork sweater I want to be making. So that I have the prices in front of me here. So I bought these 2 skeins of yarn by Brin de Malice. Brin de Malice is dyeing Frédéric's, so Atelier Purlaine yarn. And so that's her Hampshire down in DK weight. And this, I'm not sure these colorways have name. So this one is just gray, and this one is rose tea, so kind of tea pink, blush pink, I would say in English maybe. And she uses only natural dyes that you can find, that she can find, at least in France. So no other dyes, even natural dyes that are imported or things like that. So the blush pink is not much into my color realm. It's kind of an adventurous choice for me, but it's kind of a muted choice. She had some more muted than that, but she said if you want to pair them, there will not be enough contrast, so you better take these 2 ones. So I chose the gray one at first, and then she said, yeah, take this one because it's not going to be contrasty enough if you take the one that you have in mind right away. So what I want to be doing is making a color work with this from Laine Paysanne. So it's their DK weight too, so it's 260 meters per 100 grams, and this one is 266 meters per 100 grams. So this gray, and even though the greenish gray here, because there is some iron in the dye, is a bit different. It's very low contrast. I think it's going to be fine and I will like it. So for the body, I have 5 or 6 skeins of these ones. So same yarn weight with this cool white one, and I have a couple skeins, I guess 2 skeins left from several years back, where I bought this yarn from a concept store in Paris that's called Hall, that had dyed this very yarn from Laine Paysanne, the DK weight, with natural dyes, and all of the color work were in the rusty, yellowy, mustardy type of colors, and I got that one. So you see I have 4 contrasting colors and the main one. So what I have been doing, so first I paid 50 euros for the 2 skeins from Brin de Malice, so that's 25 euros each. And I'm not sure I recall, so the yellow one, I don't recall, it's so long ago. And the gray and the white one was a present by Theo last winter when I went to Toulouse to see him for his PhD graduation. And Laine Paysanne had a pop-up store there for just before Christmas. So I want to be doing a color work, and I'm going to be showing you what I have been doing so far. I showed already, I've talked about several patterns last time, and a lot of you said Drakkar was the better choice, so I kind of started to be working with that pattern and my colors. Freeform, it's an application for Mac devices. You can have it on the iPad, on the iPhone, and I have it on my MacBook. And Freeform lets you do whatever you want basically, and I use it for mood boards. So as I am willing to be doing some kind of color work with the yarn I got recently, and some I had from before from my son, and some I had even for longer ago from these two vendors, from Laine Paysanne and from Brin de Malice, who is dyeing yarn by Atelier Pure Laine. I'm just pre-recording the screen recordings, so I may have already talked about that. I'm using Freeform for IDs and mood board. So you see, I have kind of represented the colors I have for my contrasting colors here, the peachy one, the golden one, the grayish green one, and the whitish kind of cool white one that I have, with the main color going to be the dark brown I already have from Laine Paysanne. And what I do, I tried to get the correct color from color pickers and stuff like that. I know the white is not looking like this on certain angles and in certain lights. But anyway, it's closer to that than pure white or beigey white. It's a colder white. You see, you have it here, it's a colder white. So I take pictures or from sweaters or color work that inspire me. And here is the one from the Draca sweater. I've talked about it last time. I had already made that mood board with it. And Draca was the one, when I talked about it, that most people said would be nice with my own yarn. And also because it's kind of the design I'm looking for, because I looked at the Gudrun Johnson's sweater pattern. I own the book, and I don't think I can make it work with my almost decay weight yarn. So let's face it, I won't be able to make all the calculations, and it's also a bottom-up sweater. So with color work all over, and I don't have enough. So I have enough to do a yoke and maybe go further down, but that's it. So I need a top-down sweater so that I can manage my yarn and the ones I have. So Draca, I like it a lot. It kind of reminds me of these type of traditional color work. And you have also something, a little motif on the sleeves. I'm not sure I recall if there is one at the bottom of the sweater. I don't think so, but if there is one, maybe there is one. And since then, as I'm using around and I see things, I've pulled two additional patterns for ideas. The Mizoni sweater and the Tanaka sweater by Junko Okamoto. So the Mizoni sweater, you can do whatever you want with the stripes. That's something that I am very fond of, because even though you have most probably to manage for the sleeve and the body to match, you can go as far down as you want, and then you can change for a plain color, a monochromatic bottom whenever you are running out of yarn. So that's it. What I don't like here is the kind of drop shoulder sleeve construction. I don't like drop shoulders. So, but the idea is here, and also I like the stitch motif. So it's kind of, I could use the stitch motif from Gudrun Johnson and make something on my own. I may end up doing this, we'll see, or a mix with everything. And the one, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what, if the microphone picks that up. My neighbor is doing some work. We're on Sunday, so he's not supposed to be working or making noises like that. But anyway, the one I've added this morning or yesterday, I do not recall, is Tanaka by Junko Okamoto. And Tanaka is a completely different colorwork type, is a more classical colorwork yoke. And what I liked here is that I can use the plain bottom and sleeves for the body with my own gray here. And I can play with the color work. I have the white, I can play with the pink, I can play with the gold, I can play with the other gray that I have here. So it may end up being this, and I can make it work with the gauge. So you see, this is how I'm using mood boards, and I need to paste, for example, on Tanaka the colors from that I have from my yarn and see how it does. What I haven't learned yet how to be doing is how to change the color on a picture for another one, that's so that I could see maybe what the color work is looking like with my own colors. But anyway, so that's how I use the mood boards to get ideas, for example, for a future cast on. So this is how I use my mood board to keep ideas and make ideas evolve for patterns or pieces I want to knit over the time when I'm not really sure. I have one for stripes. I've seen stripes on clothes that I liked, so I took the pictures and I placed them there. I have one for lace, Japanese lace motifs that I placed there also to keep track of what I like, what the different Japanese motif numbers, the different motifs that you can find on the Japanese stitch Bible looks like, the different motifs look like on full sweaters with sleeves and things like that, because from a little square with the stitch motif, it's not always easy to envision how the full sweater or scarf or something is going to be looking like. So I'm doing this to keep track of my ideas, of the evolution of my ideas, and sometimes to remove stuff. Okay, next, other things I got when I was at Atelier Pure Laine. I've already talked and showed that to you. It's from Sepidae. It's a shawl pin. It's all in silver with silver stitch markers that I am not going to be using as stitch markers, because there is no way I'm going to be risking losing these very precious ones. So I placed them there so that I did not take enough yarn strands, so that you can see how it can be on a shawl, so to pin a shawl and attach a shawl, for example. And so the shawl pin, I think, was around 50 euros and the stitch markers around 22. And I did spend with them 72 euros. So that's about right. It's in that range. I don't recall how much they did cost individually. And this was the only shawl pin that was looking that way. Otherwise, I would most probably have bought several ones to offer, but it was the only one. And the other ones were, that round with kind of a pin you go through. I already have shawl pins like that. I've offered shawl pins like that. And with very rustic yarn, it's fine because the yarn sticks, it's in wood. And I bought them a summer ago, 2 summers ago, when I went to the Pyrenees and the Mohair farm. That's a friend of hers who's making these pins. And problem is with rustic yarn, it's fine because rustic yarn is kind of grippy and it sticks to the wood. When you use a more slippery yarn for the shawl pin has a tendency to fall off. So I was not very happy with that. So I was looking for something like that. Thing is, all the other ones that they had, because he had been, so that's his mother who was there for him. He was somewhere else at the moment. The other shawl pin he had was of this idea, a circle with a stick you place in the circle and in the shawl. And I think silver or metal is even more slippery than wood, and this problem would have been more important for more slippery yarns. So I told her to tell his son, because he's the one owning Sepidae and doing all the work with the silver, only silver. And so I think it's an amethyst. He works only with real, not very semi-precious stones, I would say. And I said, okay, tell him these kind of pins are going to be much more practical, and most probably people will enjoy them more than the ones with the circle and the pin that goes through them. Because he's starting to make knitting accessories. He's working with metal and silver for, he's been working with that for quite a long time. He has jewelries and stuff like that. So yeah, I told her, tell him to make more of these, because they are going to be much more practical for knitters. The last thing I want to show you, I had not shown you last time. I'm going to show you because one of the package has arrived. The other one that I've sent, it's been stuck somewhere for over a week. I'm very mad, but I'm trying not to be too mad about that and not to bury myself into this. And next week I'll try to call again to see what's happening. It's a stitch marker that doubles as a row counter. And it works like a Chinese hibiscus. So this is not silver, it's metal. I guess, I don't know, I don't recall, maybe it's silver. So you see you have the little loop, and on the little loop, so that you don't have anything else, you have beads. So the small beads are for units. So here there is one bead, so you attach it, so you place it on your needle. So that's the first, once you finish the first row. And then you have 2, 3, 4 beads. Then you have a smaller one, which is the number 5 here. The smaller one is here. Okay, the smaller one is here for 5. Then you have the small bead and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for 5 to 9. Then you have the bigger one that is for 10. Okay, so you go from 1 to 10 that way, slipping the marker each round to the one that is according to the row. And then when you want to do 11, you have a removable one. So here it's on the 4th one. So I was on the 40th row, and then you attach it to the one that represents 10, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. So theoretically, if you have attached the removable one to the 9th one, so that's 90, and 10, so that's 100. So you can count with this kind of row counter up to 100 rows, which is enough. And at some point, if you have more than 100 rows, you can just say, place a stitch marker and say, here it's 100 or something. They are, I had never thought of it, they are extremely practical, and I'm even considering buying more. So as I'm going to be away for quite some time, I'm not going to be doing that now. It's Paulin. I'm going to link her down below, and I've already linked her. Last time I talked about that. And I'm not going to give you the price because some of them were for presents. And it's extremely practical. I had seen other type of row counters with long numbers of beads and stuff like that, and you attach to the needle and everything. This one is very, very practical. And 100 rows, for example, for the sock, the last sock that I knit, I used that and only that to count my rows. And it was much more practical than writing on my notebook, because this is what I'm used to be doing. I count every row all the time and I mark them on my book. But for sock, one round is quite quick, so you kind of always knit one round, tick one mark and everything. With that, you knit one round, you slip to the next bead, the next little number, and you continue, and it's a seamless process that is very enjoyable. I'm even considering, buying more because I have always several projects on the go, and sometimes it's not necessary to have a row counter, and sometimes it is. So I really, really enjoy them, and I got these ones in blue, of course, and I got a couple more for other people. If we now go to the big numbers for the month of July with the yarn, the shawl pin, the little stitch markers that are on the shawl pin, and the row counters, I spent 190 euros. And so that's a grand total up to the end of August, because I did not buy anything in August, for a grand total of 857 euros and 72 cents. So that's 107 euros and 22 cents per month up to now. Not too bad. My goal was to be under last year, where I kind of went, I can't went overboard. I bought yarn for other people, so that's not a problem to me to buy yarn for other people. But I spent a lot more than what I had anticipated. And one of you said that I have to take into account that everything is more expensive now, which is true. But my goal is to spend less this year than the year before. Will I be able to make it? I don't know. We'll see. The 2 previous years, I rewarded myself for a successful year with presents for myself. The first year I bought a Swift and a ball winder, which I did not have, and I was balling my balls by hands, and it was sometimes a long process, in particular when you have 100 grams of silk mohair. So I bought that, and I'm very happy with this purchase. Last year I bought the Xiagu set, the interchangeable set. I had already in mind what to buy beforehand if the year was successful. This year, I have no idea. We are at the middle of the year. I had to said myself I will buy 3 sweaters quantities for me, and so far I have bought only 1 sweater quantity, and these ones and a couple more balls that are not a sweater quantity from Laine Pommier. So maybe I can reward myself with more yarn. I'm not sure, because I'm very happy I did get to knit tiara with my stash yarn, and there is some very beautiful yarn in my stash that I bought that some other people gave me or offered me, and I want to get to these yarns that are very beautiful. And if I want to get to them, I don't need to buy more yarn to add, even if these are beautiful yarn too. So, I bought these ones. I was not at all going to buy anything. But when I saw that, and when I saw that Brin de Malice is also dying on Laine Paysanne, this is how it all placed together. And I said, okay, I have this in my stash. I can do some kind of color work, because I had said, okay, with the white, I'm going to, need just a beanie or something. I don't know. Now, no, I want to make some color work. Which pattern, I don't know yet. But that's what I did. So I only bought a sweater quantity of Laine Pommier for Alary. And so I haven't bought the pattern yet. I have swatched, but if I want to get to be knitting to my beautiful stashed yarn that I love, that I chose or that other people chose for me, I need not to reward myself with more yarn. So, what will I reward myself with? I've been thinking of that a couple times. I have no idea. Maybe books, because I said I would buy no more than 3 or 5 books maybe this year, because I have the tendency to buy a lot of books. And there are couples that are in my, in my mind, and I want to be buying. Maybe I could buy knitting books for myself. And because you've also offered me books that are so pleasant, so beautiful, and I need to get to be knitting from these books too. And but books are source of inspiration for me. I go through my books on a regular basis, and I daydream with the patterns, my yarn, and what I want to make and everything. So that may be a good way to reward myself this year. Or maybe more needles, because I have the small DPN set from Chayagu, but I could get more bigger needles to knit sleeves and stuff like that. So I may do that too. I have absolutely no idea, and it's not a question of rewarding myself. And if I don't need any reward, if I'm just happy at the end of the year that I've been doing what I wanted to be doing, perfect. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today. That's my summary of what I spent for the last 2 months. I'm on track. I'm on track, and I'm quite happy thus far with my project. I haven't been going overboard for any of the areas where I kind of have the tendency to go overboard. I'm just going overboard with food. Problem is, I can't exercise any longer, can't walk, can't do yoga, I cannot do Pilates. So that's a big problem, and I kind of overcompensate on food. I kind of eat my unhappiness. So hopefully this is going to be solved by the end of next month. I hope you did enjoy this video. I hope that you are going to be sticking with me for all the time where I'm going to be going. I should have a video for every week. Now I have to edit. I have a lot of editing to do, because basically 1 hour of recording is about 4 hours of editing. So I've already said to myself, I need to simplify that process, but I like to place pictures, I like to place text. There are things I don't like that I say. I don't like when I say the I don't like when people say that on video. Not knitting video per se, but I don't like when people have a lot of and stuff like that. I don't like when people drink. So I drink off camera. I don't like when people make lots of mouth noises, and so I edit all of that out, and it takes a lot of time. So it's me only placing pressure on me. So maybe when I am away, I will try to think, if everything goes fine and I'm not in too much pain and everything, I will try to think of some way to simplify all of this process, because I'm telling you, what I've been doing in the last 2 or 3 weeks is a real full-time job, my friends. It's a real full-time job. So yeah, I thank you a lot for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed, and you will enjoy the future videos. I hope it will bring you joy and happiness, and I hope that your knitting is bringing you joy and happiness in this very particular world we are living in. Maybe when you see this video, there will be a zombie apocalypse, and I'm going to be completely off track with all my rambling about my no-buy year. I have absolutely no idea. Anyway, I thank you a lot for being here with me. I hope I will see you for the next upcoming weeks, and I will see you next time. Un, deux, trois. 4, 5. But would had, how to say that? Would I, problem is that I can't